Many of us think negotiating with a car salesman is worse than root canal work with Novocaine. We look at standard contracts and sign them without thinking. When asked to name a price, we do so and end up settling later for much less. So we try to avoid such painful situations. In reality, however, human interaction is in large part nothing but a series of negotiated agreements. We negotiate with our kids about the family vacation. We persuade our friends to go with us to such and such a restaurant for dinner. We try to get the dry cleaner to make amends for that scorched white shirt. These small scale agreements we make every day are the essence of our civilization. They moderate our primitive, selfish desires. And in the end, they probably keep us from killing each other. The premise of the Hagglers Handbook is that if you have to negotiate every day of your life, you may as well be good at it and get what you want. We've called our book a Haggler's Handbook because haggling sounds more personal and recreational and a little more quarrelsome than negotiating, which smacks of the boardroom and starched collars. Having a sense of humor is important here because conscious negotiation is a game. Not taking yourself too seriously, learning to stay loose, makes you a more creative and effective player. The Haggler's Handbook offers a smorgasbord of negotiating options, some 130 tips, tactics, and strategies. These are timeless principles that will work just as well in the rug bazaar as in the corporate tower. What we've done with these principles is put them in a convenient form for your quick reference and use. Because every negotiating situation is different and needs a different approach, you'll find that some of the strategies we propose are contradictory. We've used icons to indicate whether a particular tactic is best suited for a cooperative win, a competitive win, or an in between negotiating posture. Which strategy is best? Partly that depends on who you are. Can you tolerate and play hardball? Can you stomach the anxiety that comes with a classic ploy like the bluff or the take it and leave it? A lot of you can't, and good for you, because the most powerful deals are those in which both parties emerge feeling as if though they've gained something of value. People who make win-win deals feel good about themselves and will work to make sure that the deal goes through by selling it to their colleagues and by smoothing out any hitches that may arise later. But what if your opponent is not as charitable or as nice as you? The more aggressive ideas in this book will prepare you for the worst sleazeball that you can imagine or walk into. Make sure you walk away if you can, but if you can't, use these ideas to bury him before he buries you. Look at yourself. Know thyself. Understand your needs, assumptions, and beliefs. Because every head is its own universe, because we are all different, all of us are going to approach life and negotiations in a different way. Some people value money and power. Some people just want to win. Some people just want justice. It all depends on personal style and values. But two things are certain and for sure. You'll never get what you want if you don't know what you're looking for. And two, you're dead if your opponent understands you better than you understand yourself. On a piece of paper, write down the 5 things most important to you. Now ask a friend to also write down 5 things he thinks are important to you. Do the lists match up? How might an opponent try to use these perceived motivations against you? Are you going to be fighting for honor when in fact what you want is money, or vice versa? Try to perceive where you are most valuable and protect yourself. Knowledge is power. Know thy opponent. Find out all you can about the person that you're going to be dealing with. Most people are very predictable. They have a certain style they bring to everything that they do, including negotiating. Before talking to your opponent, talk to his friends, his enemies, and people who have negotiated with him before. Listen to gossip and industry scuttlebutt. Find out where he lives, in what neighborhood, in what kind of house, so you can visualize him better. Even try calling up your competitors for clues to what your opponent's after and whether he's tough or bluff. Then sit down and make a list of what you know and what it might mean for your negotiations. For example, family and health are two big motivators. Does your opponent have relatives he wants to provide for, or a health problem that makes it imperative he settle quickly? Think about it. Remember, it's just a game. You have to cultivate a detached attitude toward the outcome of the negotiation. Banish from your mind the idea that everything, your home, your bank account, your job, depends on your negotiating skill. Negotiating is fun. It is a game. And to do it well, you have to have a sense of fun, an appreciation for the thrill of the hunt. Worry too much and you get nervous and you become easy to trip up. Don't fret about inconsequential details along the way. Keep your eyes on the prize. Here's a useful tip. Deep breathing, mental exercises where you visualize yourself winning, and a full body massage are all good ways of relaxing before a meeting. Hold your horses there, pal. Be patient. What's your hurry? Overeagerness makes it appear you really, really, really want something. And to the extent that you reveal that you want it, your opponent will try to withhold it from you. Stalling for time lets you focus on the issues, not the people involved or your sense of obligation for the big meal you've just enjoyed at their expense. If you can't think of the right thing to do nothing and wait and see what happens tomorrow. Remember, in business, what counts is what you end up with, not how quickly you get it. An ounce of prevention. Never take your checkbook or credit cards to the car dealership or when you're seriously just looking. Think about it. Push, 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 push. Be persistent. Keep at it. Your strategy may fail the first time, but you can always come back and try again. The important thing is to keep on top of current events and know when the situation has changed in your favor. Here's a quick true story. Ed, a man of San Francisco, saw a house that he wanted to buy, and it wasn't listed. But Ed's realtor discovered that the elderly ladies who own it will sell it for $350,000. So Ed offers what he thinks it's worth, which is $220,000. The ladies refuse and are insulted by Ed's low offer. Ed instructs his realtor to call the ladies periodically to renew the offer anyway. Then, the earthquake of October 1989 hits, and the ladies, very shaken up, call Ed's realtor. Ed closes that deal for $220,000. Keep at it. Don't give up. Push, push, push. Take a chance. Be willing to take some risks. You see, negotiating is a process. Between the action and the result is a span of time we call the risk zone. It's the period right after you call your opponent's bluff and before you see if your ploy has worked. It's the time when you turn down one offer to buy your car and you're waiting for the better offer you think is out there. It can be nerve-wracking, and that's why some people try to narrow the risk zone. But sometimes these people end up narrowing the reward. To the extent that you can handle the tension, broaden the risk zone. Here's a bad example. A collector turns down a good offer for a stamp and then loses his nerve overnight. He calls his opponent in the morning saying that he'll take the offer, not realizing that the bidder was just about to call him with a better deal. Be patient and take a risk. It's okay to ask. Don't be shy, don't be bashful. Try to get everything that your heart desires. You're not a bad person just because you want what you want. You're not being selfish when you refuse to concede a point that matters to you. You see, a lot of people feel awkward when making their initial pitch, as if though they're asking for more than they really deserve or expect to get. Their eyes dart around, their voices drop in volume, and their opponent immediately gains the upper hand. You don't have to ask for everything the first time out, but you do have to believe that it's fundamentally okay to want what you want. And here's the point. You're the one who's got to live with the deal when it's done. You gotta think that, quote, I'm on stage. You have to hone your ability to bluff, mug, and act. You see, maybe the world isn't really a stage, but it really helps to pretend that it is. You see, here are some tactics to practice. Number 1, the poker face. Don't let on when you're upset, frightened, delighted, confused. Practice looking spiritually unruffled. The converse of this is, or the mug. Use your face to express outrage, disbelief, scorn, and power. Third, the bluff. The classic ploy whose effectiveness can be heightened by a deft use of 1 and 2. Here's a tip. Look at your opponent square in the eye when you're performing either one of those, and it'll make you seem more natural and sincere and very effective. Do more research. You see, the more important the negotiation, the more research that you need. How much preparation you do for a negotiation depends on what's writing on the deal. Never walk into a situation blind, understanding only your own goal. You see, the particular price you're willing to pay, for example, postpone the negotiation if you have to, but take the time to become an expert on the subject you'll be working on. Go to the library and check out the industry reports. Talk to the other professionals, particularly academics who are masters of the industry overview and who will expound at the drop of a hat. Study your opponent's company, its reputation, its financial position, its market share. If you care about the result, you have to care about the preparation. Do more research. Create intimacy. Start negotiating even before you start negotiating, when your opponent is off guard and relaxed. If there's something you really want, don't just call up cold and start negotiating for it. Instead, establish an informal communication level first. Chat about it. Talk about this and that, and merely touch on the subject of real interest to you. Give away good, but not vital information, in the hope of getting good and vital information in return. Then let the subject drop until you talk again next time. Once you're in the negotiating room and your opponent feels he's got to look tough in front of his minions, it won't be so easy to have a friendly exchange. Make them uncomfortable in how much they like you. Think big. Figure out the most you could hope to gain from the negotiation. What's the best that you could possibly do in a negotiation? No, not what you'll settle for, but what you could expect if everything goes your way. As your opening position, this is what you should ask for. Asking big gives you confidence and it lets your opponent know you're not a pushover. Also, negotiating is a horse trade. You probably won't get your opening position. One thing's for sure though, you won't get more than what you ask for. Here's an example. Honest Ted was selling his boat and asked for what he thought it was worth, considering it needed repainting. His opponent immediately asked for a reduction because the boat needed a new paint job. Ask big. Be believable. Ask big, but don't jack up your position beyond reason. You see, your opponent should know from the outset that you're not crazy or greedy, but have simply done your homework. Start out with too high of a demand and he will immediately show you why your position is untenable, thus undermining any future strategy you might employ. Instead, ask big, but build support for your position with relevant documents through reports, receipts, blueprints, and the like. Evidence of other offers and any other hard information that you can muster. Prioritize your needs and your desires. When there are many issues to be decided in a negotiation, you must rank your goals in order of relative importance. Know what you want, but also know what you'll give up to get it. Say you've been offered a job, and with it comes a package of benefits, many of which are not adequate for you. Which do you care about the most? The health coverage for your growing family? The car? The stock options? Is it your title? The location of your office? Would you be willing to forego the job if some or all of the benefits weren't changed? If healthcare and job title matter most, focus on these and be willing to compromise on the rest. So here's a suggestion. Compromising does not equal giving up. It means being creative. For example, you can make certain parts of your final agreement provisional, say for a year, after which they will be renegotiated. Priority, priority, priority. Hide your bottom line. Keep what you're willing to accept absolutely secret. But if you have attractive options, let your opponent know what they are. You see, concealment and disclosure are equally powerful strategies. Never let on that you need the deal or how far you're willing to go to get it. But if you have good options, ones that you can seriously count on, you can disclose them, so that your opponent knows that you can walk away if you feel like it. Here's a tactic. You control the concealment and disclosure of information. Don't respond to direct questions unless your answer will advance your own position. Preparation. Change with the changes. Plan your strategy carefully, but you must stay flexible and you must be aware when the situation and the circumstances are changing. Closed-mindedness can be deadly. By all means, plan your negotiation. Figure out your options. Do your research, but don't let the amount of work you put into your preparations prevent you from seeing new opportunities that the other side might offer you. Before you act to a proposal, think, what is my stock answer to this? And then, what if I go along with the idea? You have to keep your mind active, always sorting through the data. Don't get lost in details, though keep your main, larger goals firmly in mind as an anchor. Use your people resources. Ask your friends for help and advice in planning and strategy. You may be a loner, but negotiation is by definition an interaction between people. So use other people as part of your preparation. Your friends, personal and business, are particularly useful. Their honest perceptions about you and their suggestions for strategy can be most useful, most important. Your friends are on your side. They can offer you encouragement and support when you're feeling threatened. Share your thoughts and feelings with people who you love and who you trust, because your feelings are the true keys to your confidence and your success. Rehearse possible scenarios. Before an important negotiation, prepare yourself a script and practice acting it out. You see, lawyers often stage mock trials before going to court. This gives them a chance to polish their arguments and gauge the likely reaction of the judge and jury before it's too late to turn back. You can prepare a negotiating script for the same purpose. Try it out with your friends and colleagues, with one person in the role of your hard-nosed opponent. Play acting not only gives you lines and arguments to draw on, but it also trains your emotions to follow a comfortable path around volatile and contentious issues. Here's some recommendations. Don't over-practice. Once or twice through a script is enough. 2. Always play act in an unfamiliar room. This creates a tension and uncertainty similar to the real thing.